Chase at the 40. Look at that move. Look at Chase go. Oh, my goodness. What a gear.
He comes down to this in his car end zone. Intercepted.
McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Toss here. Nixon's going to throw. Open man caught. Higgins touchdown.
Drives touchdown. Joe Burrow has his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. Maan, we got a lot to talk about today. Big show, rookie minicamp, schedule release. We have a lot of Bengals to talk about. But before we do, obviously we are filming this on Mother's Day. So I just want to give a shout out to all the incredible mothers out there that I know. Yes, absolutely. My wife, my mom, my mother-in-law, both my grandmothers, my sister, my sister-in-laws, and all the other incredible mothers that I know. And to all the moms out there watching the show, to all of you, happy Mother's Day. You guys are usually the glue to all of our families. I know that is the case in my family. So, Maan, how are you doing? How is everything going? Happy Mother's Day to Heather as well, your wife. So we got a big show, Mom. What do you think?
Happy Mother's Day. Exactly. It's a great day. Happy Mother's Day to my wife, Heather. She's out having brunch with the girls right now, so they're getting a little tipsy, and they deserve it. And I'm happy for her. She is the glue to our family. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to Angela. My mom passed away a few years ago. It's always a little, solemn, but she was a great lady. I wish we could still see her, but it is what it is. And happy Mother's Day to all. And yeah, Jake, you're right. There is a lot of Bengal news to talk about. This could be a 2-hour show. It won't be, but it could be. And let's get to it.
We'll try to get to the Reader's Digest. Yeah, just real quick. Obviously, my wife, Angela, your wife, Heather, those two are definitely the glues to our families, and they are so awesome for letting us do this every week. And, I think wives of all Bengal fans out there have a very rough life sometimes because we are diehard, obsessed fans, and they have to put up with quite a bit from us, not just us, but all of us out there. So, all right, let's get to it, Mon. Before we get to the schedule, though, let's talk about a lot of rookie news. Bless
me.
you. All the 13. We signed 13 undrafted free agents. We went through the list last week of the majority of those guys. I think there were a couple more that were added. So let's go ahead and do the list one more time. Safety Larry Brooks from Tulane, wide receiver Malachi Carter from Georgia Tech, linebacker Shaka Hayward from Duke, wide receiver Matt Hippenhammer from Miami of Ohio, wide receiver Cedric Jackson from Auburn, guard Jackson Kirkland from Washington, defensive tackle Devonsha Maxwell from Tennessee Chattanooga, linebacker Jalen Moody from Alabama, linebacker Tyler Murray from Memphis, defensive tackle Tua Talal. I'm guessing Tua Talal. We're going to go with that. Tua Talal, Pacefe. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out.
Sounds good.
Arizona State. Sounds good. He's from Arizona State. Running back Jacob Sailors from East Tennessee, and tight end Christian Trahan from Houston, and running back Calvin Tyler Jr. from Utah State. That is the 13 undrafted rookie free agents that we have signed. Shaka Hayward obviously getting that $30,000 bonus, signing bonus, which we talked about already last week, was huge. They obviously feel very big about Mr. Shaka Hayward. Now, you were saying before we went on air, there were a couple other guys that got some signing bonuses, Mon. Who were those guys that got signing bonuses as well?
Devin Maxwell, the defensive tackle from Tennessee, Chattanooga, built a little taller than Geno Atkins. God, I forgot his name real quick. Built similar to him, some of the same mold. He got a $25,000 signing bonus. Who else? Jalen Moody, I think, got $7,000. Jacob Saylor, the running back from East Tennessee State, got $10,000. So that shows you right there they're pretty high on these individuals. I do agree. I think Shaka Hayward is going to be the guy that potentially breaks through and makes this roster. I love the little, if you guys go on Bengals.com, they get a little scout's take on each player. They mention their comparisons. I like what they write about Shaka Hayward. Bo Jackson's nephew that made the team, his measurables and his testing numbers are unbelievable. If Troy Walters can actually mold him and develop him, maybe we get him on the practice squad this year. His athleticism is freaky. Look out for him. He could be a special player for the Bengals if he continues to develop, and I think he could.
And that's obviously Cedric Jackson from Auburn that you're speaking of.
Yes,
yes. And again, I think this group of guys, like you said, Shaka Hayward, probably the one that's got the best chance. I said last week, Mac Hippenhammer. I mean, how awesome would that be to have that on a Bengals jersey, Hippenhammer? And I think it is interesting, though, that they go out and they get 2 running backs, right? We've talked about this running back room and obviously going out and getting Chase Brown in the draft. I think going to be interesting to see if one of those guys, like Sailors, who they gave a signing bonus to, has a chance of making this squad or at least battling for a spot. I love that running back room battle that we're going to see, I think, in minicamp, and very excited about that. But those are the guys, again, as we said, I think a lot of those guys, hopefully, practice squad guys, but the majority of them we see when we look at these undrafted rookie free agents, a lot of those guys we see making the squad as special teams guys or other situational guys, that sort of thing. But good luck to all those guys. And then rookie minicamp obviously happened this weekend, Mon. Any takes from rookie minicamp?
Yeah, real quick, going back to the undrafted free agents real quick, there was a lot of talk pre-draft, during the draft, that we were going to restock that tight end room. All these players that potentially in the first round, second round. Obviously, the Bengals didn't pick any tight ends. They only signed one undrafted free agent at the tight end spot. So they must be happy with a lot of the guys they had on the practice squad last year that they spent time with. They're developing. So they're pretty comfortable with them, obviously, because you would think they would have targeted more tight ends. Concerning the mini camp, it's not like the old days where they actually went out and did a lot of stuff. I think it was just underwear football. But I'm really happy that they signed all their draft picks this past weekend. I mean, Jake, you remember the days where guys wouldn't sign until late August. There was multiple holdouts. The way the current system is, it's slotted. Holdouts are very rare now across the NFL when it comes to draft picks. It's great to see that all of them are under contract and, they don't have to worry about any of that. They can just get ready for the mini camps coming up and get ready for the Browns week 1.
Well, and I think too, when you look at that as well, I obviously, them getting drafted to a Super Bowl contender probably helps the process a little bit quicker as well. They know they're coming into an already loaded roster, and they got to get in right away and compete for these jobs. I will say this, man, from the rookie minicamp, Myles Murphy, again, like you say, he's running around in shorts and a jersey, but man, I tell you what, his size and his athleticism, you see him going through bag drills. This guy could be a steal, the steal of this draft. He definitely looks the part, Myles Murphy. And I'll tell you what, too, you see Chase Brown going through those bag drills as well. Man, he is really fast twitch and quick feet and very explosive. You can see that in those bag drills as well.
Yes, speed with Murphy. The way modern football is developed, passing and all these super elite athletes, you better draft defensive players that can run and that can cover a lot of ground. And the Bengals did that these last 2 drafts with Dax Hill and Tyson Anderson running 4.40s. DJ Turner, Miles Murphy running a 4.51 at 270, 275. That's sick. And you better just be athletic on defense, and the Bengals are, because they're going to have to be, because every offense in the NFL is loaded with skill position studs.
Absolutely. And obviously with all the rookies signing, we also, that means for all you guys out there, and ladies who love jerseys, jersey numbers have been chosen for the 8 draft picks. Let's go through those real quick, because one very interesting one, obviously Miles Murphy, we all know, got 99, 98 in college. Obviously, I love the whole DJ Reader, Miles Murphy thing about the jersey number. I thought that was hysterical, because obviously DJ being 98, and then both being Clemson guys. So Miles Murphy takes 99. DJ Turner, number 20, Mon. Does that mean the end of Eli Apple? I think it might. I think that, we have speculated on this show that Eli Apple could be one of those vets that they bring in. DJ Turner, number 20. Very interesting. Very interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it could be the end of Eli Apple. Sort of makes me sad. I know some fans love him, some fans don't. I just want to, I've said it before, just take away all the Twitter banter and all his talking. He was a very good player for 2 years. He's played really well for us. Hopefully they still have his phone number. They can call him if something happens. I do like the fact that I did buy a custom white Bengal jersey this year. Number 20, by the way, with my name on the back. I didn't do it for Eli Apple. 20's always been my favorite number. So the second round pick is number 20. So that's going to be nice.
That's good.
And,
that's good.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I wouldn't mind having Eli Apple back. I think if everybody just takes a deep breath and looks at it, at the quality of play, very solid player for the Bengals the last 2 years. And who knows, maybe he could return later on if injuries pop up, which I hope they don't.
And we have Jordan Battle, the 3rd round safety from Alabama, goes with number 27. Again, Nick Scott originally changed to 27 when we signed him. Then Nick Scott went back to 33. And now Jordan Battle takes number 27. Wide receiver Charlie Jones, number 15. Obviously a number that's very near and dear to all of us Bengal fans in the late Chris Henry. Running back Chase Brown, number 30. Wide receiver Andre Yoshivas, number 80, from another ex Bengal in Chris Collinsworth, and Chase Brown, running back, taking number 30, the old Icky Woods number. Punter Brad Robbins, number 10, Kevin Huber's number. Very interesting how these numbers kind of fell into place. And cornerback DJ Ivy, number 38. So again, that's obviously for all you Jersey fans out there, but I thought it was interesting that these numbers being chosen this year from guys from positions of guys in the past that were longtime Bengal greats. Very cool. But I'm with you about Eli Apple. Just real quick on the Eli Apple thing. I think he did get a very bad rep, but he was a solid player for 2 years. So if this is the end, Eli, thank you for everything that you did for us the last couple of years. He was a heck of a football player, Mom.
He was, and I hate it sometimes to this day. They still on Twitter, you'll see the Cooper Kupp touchdown in the Super Bowl. He played a good game in the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp embarrassed every cornerback in the NFL that year, 1,800 yards receiving, and to use that against him, come on, guys. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I totally get the chirping part. It turned me off a little bit, but he was a good player. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm excited about minicamp. Minicamp is going to be very exciting. Let's see how these rookies blend into the rest of this already Super Bowl ready roster. Let's go through the schedule, Mon. Schedule release, a very interesting schedule, I think. We don't see. Well, let's go through it real quick, and then we'll get into it. And then You want to make our very early predictions record-wise?
Let's do it.
I just want to say last year, obviously, I won, picking 13 wins. We had 12 wins. I think you went with, what'd you go with?
I had 12
10
last
or
year.
you did not have 12.
I had 12-5 because you go, wow, I can't believe that, Mon. You had 13-4. I had 12-5.
Oh, never
We'll
mind.
play
Then
it
you won.
back. Okay.
Well, I got to see
honestly,
that.
it was skewed. That's fine. It was skewed though because we had one less game.
Oh,
So
that's right. So there are no
yeah.
winners
So
here, Vaughn.
no,
There
there
are
wasn't.
no winners. All right,
Right.
so we'll do our early predictions here. Preseason games, we have Green Bay at home, then at Atlanta, and then at Washington. That's second preseason game. Not sure if we'll see Jesse Bates and Trey Flowers in that game, but would be interesting if we did. And then, as I said, at Washington, again, preseason. I love the fact they cut that down to 3 games because, man, oh man, it's nothing really good ever comes out of preseason. I just don't have ever good feelings about preseason games. Let's get into the meat of this schedule, Mon. Are you ready?
I am. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Week 1 on the road at Cleveland, September 10th. Again, the Reds playing at home that weekend, I think probably hurt this. I'm not very happy that a team that played in the AFC Championship is having to start on the road. I get the whole Reds thing, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. The team we're playing, the Cleveland Clowns, I don't really care about that so much because that will be a 2-score win at the least. So I'm not really worried about that too much. But I don't like the fact starting on the road, and not only starting on the road, Mon, but then we come home and play the Baltimore Ravens for our home opener. Again, I'm not worried about the Ratbirds. Again, I think that will be also a 2-score win for us. But starting with 2 divisional games is huge. And the Bengals have to start hot right out of the gate. There is none of what we saw last year when we laid an egg against Pittsburgh. We got 2 divisional games to start this season off. And, man, going 2-0 would just be absolutely huge, not only in the AFC but in the division. What do you think about those first 2 games, Mon?
We're doing our predictions now. We're just brief overview of the schedule.
Just brief overview. Tell me what you think about those first 2 games. Let's start with those.
Yeah, I think they're going to be tough. I know the Browns haven't done well the last few years. Overall record, they've played well against us. Opening game of the season on the road against the division opponent is going to be tough. I think we're going to win. It's not going to be an easy game at all. And it is what it is. The next week, I just don't see us losing to the Ravens home opener in Cincinnati. It's going to be a tough game. The Ravens have a great defense. It will be another close scoring game, but we'll win that one. Back-to-back games in the AFC North, huge. We started off 0-3 in the AFC North last year. We can't do that this year. And, hey, the NFL, the NFL wanted us to start off with a bang. They wanted us to start off with a bang, and they did it. Yes.
The NFL loves us, don't they? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's go. The next 4, we'll go with the next 4 getting to the bye. We have the Rams at home on Monday Night Football. Interesting Monday Night Football game, a rematch of Super Bowl 56. Then we go on the road to the Tennessee Titans. Then we come then we're on the road to Arizona, right? So we go on the road to Tennessee Titans. That's October 1st at 1. Then we go on the road to Arizona. That's October 8th. That's a 4:00 game. Then we come home and play the Seattle Seahawks 1:00 at home on October 15th. What about those 4 games? Because the next week, Mon, is the bye. So 6 games, and then we have the bye. What do you think about those next 4 games? 2 of them at home, 2 of them on the road, one of them prime time.
Yeah, the Rams game on Monday Night Football is a little bit of a shocker to me. I don't think the Rams are going to be very good this year. Of course, they're a big market team. It's all about ratings. I think the NFL is really shifting to big markets. Look at the Jets getting 6 primetime games this year. A little concerning to me. Tennessee, at
Absolutely.
Tennessee is always tough, but they're in flux right now. Arizona, that's a game the Bengals should win. Arizona is going to be, to me, one of the worst teams in football. Seattle is scary good. They made the playoffs last year. They got a lot of good players. That is not going to be an easy game. I'm glad that's at home. The bye week, we will not lose or win, but it's a little early for that bye week, but I'll take it. Normally, the last couple years, it's been around week 8 or 9 to get it, week 6. Hopefully, it comes at a key time. Maybe if some players need to rest up, that'll be key for them. But I believe the Seattle game is going to be the toughest one out of that stretch.
Well, so that stretch, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give you an early prediction. We're going to go 6-0 before the bye. I think our first 6 games line up almost perfectly, right? I love the fact that we have that bye in between the 2 West Coast trips. We'll talk about the other one coming up here in a minute. But I look at those 6 teams, and I don't see anyone there that's glaring to me that would give me any or give this Bengals roster any trouble. Even the Seattle Seahawks, like you said, their defense played well last year, but that's a football team. Again, they're making a trip from the West Coast, and I just don't know if I'm a believer yet in Seattle Seahawks quarterback that they just paid a whole bunch of money to. I'm not sure I'm a believer yet, but I think it's interesting too that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 within a 6-week period, we play the entire NFC West division. And I think that's interesting as well. But it's evened up those first 6 games, 3 at home, 3 on the road, 2 divisional games, 3 NFC teams, 3 AFC teams. A very even first 6 games for the Bengals going into the bye. Then we come out of the bye, Mon, and these next 2 games are tough, right? We go on the road to the San Francisco 49ers, who played in the NFC Championship this year. That game is at October 29th at 4:25 p.m. And I'll tell you right now, if they have their quarterback in that game, I think that game is a lot closer against the Eagles. Then the following week, we come back home, Sunday Night Football, November 5th, against the Buffalo Bills. What do you think about those next 2 games coming out of the bye?
San Francisco is going to be a tough one. I think they're one of the best teams in football. I think their roster easily top 2 or 3 in the NFL. That's going to be a hard out there in California. That could be our first loss of the season. Buffalo, we match up well against them. I know they've retooled and restocked. Playing prime time in Cincinnati, I feel pretty confident about that game. Of course, we don't know about the injuries, what's going to happen leading up into that. But right now, I believe I like our chances in that game. Prime time is Cincinnati. It's going to be hard for any team to beat us in downtown Cincinnati in prime time.
Agreed. Okay, so then we got what I think is another easy stretch of games. We have the Texans at home, so back-to-back home games with the Bills and then the Texans. The Texans come into Paycor Stadium November 12th. That's at 1 o'clock. Following week, we go on the road to the Ratbirds. That is a primetime Thursday night game. That's November 16th. Then we come back home, and we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. That is the day after Thanksgiving, November 26th at 1 p.m. Then we go on the road to the Jacksonville Jaguars, another primetime game, Monday night game, December 4th. And then the Indianapolis Colts come into Paycor Stadium. That is December 10th at 1 o'clock. So tell me, Mon, that 5-game stretch, Texans, Ratbirds, Squealers, Jaguars, Colts. We have 3 of those at home, 2 of those on the road. What do you think about that 5-game stretch, Mon?
I don't like the fact we're playing Baltimore on a Thursday night on a short week. After we play the Texans, of course, we got to prepare and get ready to fly out to Baltimore. Baltimore's primetime record is unbelievable at home. It's going to be a hard game. We can sort of gloss over it all we want. Baltimore has a hell of a defense. They're not going to be an easy out this year. Then we head on to Jacksonville, playing on the road in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's an up-and-coming team. Prime time. Actually, I missed the Pittsburgh game. I'm sorry. We have to play Pittsburgh back-to-back. After Baltimore,
that's kind of a bye. That Pittsburgh game's a bye.
Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I like our chances there. Pittsburgh has done a lot to restock that team. They got a good coaching staff. Pittsburgh at home, I'm not too concerned about. I think we can pull a win out there. Playing on the road in Jacksonville is not going to be an easy game. Primetime Monday Night Football. We're talented. They're talented. They've got a very fast team. We got to see how everything leads up into that injury-wise. Indianapolis, they're retooling. They got a new coaching staff. Short trip. Actually, that's a home game for us. We're not traveling there.
Yes.
Even if we were, it would be a short trip. I like our chances there, but that's a tough stretch. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville in the middle of the Houston, Indianapolis. That's a hard stretch in our schedule.
Well, again, playing the Ratbirds on prime time, I'm not. Once again, we look at this schedule and we get no divisional primetime games. It makes no sense to me. Again, I know the NFL loves us, but I mean, it's almost laughable at this point that the Bengals don't get any primetime games at home against divisional opponents. We are every primetime. Well, we play at Baltimore, right? And that's on Thursday night. And then we play at Pittsburgh in this last 4-game stretch. And that's on Saturday, but that's the only game of the day. Right, only gamers are 2 games that day.
It's the only game. It's a national game. It's like a primetime game during the day.
So again, 2 primetime games. We'll consider that one a primetime. 2 primetime games, both of them on the road against divisional opponents. Again, NFL, you're a joke. All right, here we go. The last 4-game stretch here. We have the Minnesota Vikings coming into Paycor Stadium. That's on either December 16th or 17th. Again, that's possibly one of those flex games. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is December 23rd at 4:30 p.m. That's the Saturday game we were just talking about at Pittsburgh. And then the one everybody is going to be waiting for, the one that's probably going to be for that first round bye is at Kansas City, December 31st. Man, oh man, that is going to be a fun one. New Year's Eve at 4:25 p.m. New Year's Eve is actually my wife and I, Angela. It's our anniversary. So as soon as it came out, I texted her. I guess we're going to Kansas City for our anniversary this year. And then we have that last game. We have Cleveland in Paycor, either January 6th or 7th. That is going to be determined. That could be a primetime game, but Maan, I don't see that happening because I think the Bengals will be about 3 games ahead of everybody else in the division at that point, and that will be probably a preseason game for us. So I'm going to go through it one more time really quick, and I want you to tell me anything else in this schedule that kind of jumps out to you. So here we go. Week 1, Cleveland on the road. Week 2, Baltimore at home. Week 3, the Rams at home, prime time. Week 4, at Tennessee Titans. Week 5, at Arizona Cardinals. Week 6, Seahawks at home. Week 7, bye. Week 8, on the road, San Francisco 49ers. Week 9, Buffalo Bills at home, Sunday Night Football. Week 10, Houston Texans at home. Week 11, on the road at Baltimore on a short week, Thursday Night Football. Week 12, Pittsburgh Steelers at Paycor Stadium. Week 13, at Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Week 14, Indianapolis Colts at home. Week 15, Minnesota Vikings at home. Week 16, on the road to Pittsburgh. on a Saturday, which is basically prime time. Week 17 on the road at Kansas City, and then Week 18 at home against the Cleveland Browns. That game is to be determined, as well as the Minnesota Viking game. On anything else jump out of this schedule at you?
Well, the last 4 games to touch on real quick. Minnesota, I think that's going to be the late game on Saturday, the 16th. So that'll be a prime time 8 o'clock game. There's going to be 3 games on Saturday. That's the word on the street. There's a lot of Twitter buzz on that. At Pittsburgh, tough game. At Kansas City, tough game, obviously. Then Cleveland. 2 of our last 3 on the road, but 3 of our last 5 at home. You want to break it down that way. Only 4 primetime games. Night primetime games. That really, obviously sticks out to me. But they have 4 games at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock isn't quite primetime, but 80% of the country does tune in. We'll get those games. So the Bengals are going to be highly visible this year. They're going to be on TV a lot. A lot of people nationally are going to get exposed to them, as they haven't already the last 2 years. Honestly, I think it's a fair schedule. I think it's very fair. I think the way the NFL played it out is actually pretty decent. Last year, Jake, they had 3 road games in a row. They had 3 home games. They did a good job of breaking it up. I'm not really that upset about it. Would I like a few more primetime games? Absolutely. Am I a little sensitive about it? Yeah, who isn't as a Bengal fan? But overall, I think it's a fair schedule. We'll see how it shakes out.
Well, our guy, friend of the show, Dan Horde, he went on and posted this on Twitter. I'm just going to kind of read off some of the things that he saw, some kind of takeaways from the schedule. This is from our buddy Dan Horde. First of all, obviously, surprise like you and I, only 4 primetime games, and only one of those being a Sunday night game. But like you said before, we do have 4 o'clock games. Some of those games could get flexed into Sunday night. Last year, every single AFC North road game was at night. This year, only one. That's the Baltimore Raven game. And I think part of that is because the NFL probably doesn't think very highly of Cleveland or Pittsburgh. The next thing, they don't play more than 2 straight games on the road or at home. I think this one's very interesting. So no more than 2 games in a row at home or on the road. 8 of their games are against teams that made the playoffs this year. So almost half the schedule against playoff teams. They could face a Pro Bowl quarterback 12 of the 17 games. 12 of the 17 games this year will be facing against a Pro Bowl quarterback. And he kind of talked a little bit about too how you have the bye, San Francisco, then you have the mini bye after the Thursday night game before the Pittsburgh game, but obviously that Baltimore Raven game on a short week on the road after the Houston Texans game. So a couple of interesting things from our buddy Dan Horde. For me, Mon, I look at this schedule and I'm with you. I think it's fair. I am a little bit surprised about the primetime stuff, and I don't like, again, that we do not have a primetime game at home against a divisional opponent. I think that's the biggest thing that I take away from this schedule. I think the home and away are kind of evened out. Only twice do we have 2 straight road games. If that's correct, I believe we have Tennessee and Arizona, and then Pittsburgh and Kansas City. So only twice we have 2 straight road games. So again, I think it's fairly even. And obviously the way the schedule works this year, the Bengals will have 9 home games as opposed to last year when they had 8 home games. But I agree it's a tough schedule, but I also would say that, without trying to sound like a homer, the Bengals are favored. I know it's impossible. The Bengals are favored in 15 of these 17 games. The only 2 games they are not favored in, Mon, right now are the San Francisco 49ers game on the road. The Niners are favored by 1. And at Kansas City, the Chiefs are favored by 2.5. every other game on this schedule, Mon, the Bengals are favored. When is the last time, Mon, that you have had that many, when the schedule came out, that you have had that many games where the Bengals are favored in? 15 of the 17 games.
Yeah, it's we're in the golden age of Bengal football. They're an elite NFL team. They are going to be as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy, and this management and this team keeps on stocking him with, supplying him with talented weapons. And we're going to have this conversation every year. We're going to be relevant for many, many years.
All right, are you ready to give me your early schedule prediction?
I am. I am ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's do this. Let me hear it.
All right, so week one versus Cleveland. Okay. Are we going to go game by game? You want me just to name each one? How do you want to do it?
Let's go game by game.
Okay. Cleveland week one. It's going to be a tough game playing on the road, home opener. Cleveland has a lot of talented players. We've only won one of the last 6 against them. It is not going to be an easy game. This is not going to be an easy game. And I've toyed around with the thought of a potential loss here. Bengals win this game. It's going to be very, very close. 1-0.
Okay. Oh, and I'll go. Okay, yeah, we'll go back and forth. All right. I'm not even going to say any stats or anything. The Bengals win this football game, and I think they win it by 2 scores. So I'm also going to say 1-0. Again, I know Cleveland. I know you are in love with this Cleveland roster. I am not. I think the Bengals are the much better football team, and I honestly don't think it matters if this game is on the road or at home. I think the Bengals win this thing handily. Again, I think the Bengals have a chip on their shoulder about being 1-6 against Cleveland, and I don't think this game is going to be close. So I say 1-0 too. All right, here we go. Week 2, Baltimore Ravens at home opener. Who you got?
Another really tough game. Baltimore, their defense is one of the best in football. Lamar Jackson's going to be back. They've restocked with a lot of weapons. It's going to be another close game. Playing at home in Cincinnati, home opener. No way we lose. Close game, Bengals 2-0.
All right, and I'm going to go the same. I say Bengals 2-0. Again, this Baltimore Ravens roster, although the defense is stout, there is no way the Bengals are losing their home opener against the Baltimore Ravens. That will not happen. I'm with you. I think Bengals 2-0, and not only 2-0, but 2-0 in the division, Mon, which is going to be huge. Like you said, last year we started 0-3. Can't do that again. I think the Bengals understand that. I think they know that going into this, and I think they start off 2-0 in the division. All right, week 3, Rams at home, Monday Night Football, Mon.
Yeah, still puzzled. This is a Monday Night Football game. I think the Bengals win this game. I think it's going to be pretty easy, actually. 3-0 Bengals.
All right, and I am too. I'm with you. I think this is a very puzzling game. I know they played in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but this is a deconstructed Rams roster from that team that we saw 2 years ago live against the Bengals. I don't think this game is even close. I'm actually really not understanding how this is even a Monday night game, but it is what it is. And the Bengals now are 3-0. You have 3-0. Let's go to at Tennessee Titans week 4, Mon.
Road game. They're trying to figure things out in Tennessee. We've had their number the last few years. It's going to be a challenging game. They're going to be fired up for us. I still think we win. Bengals will be 4-0. I think they go to Tennessee and handle business.
Yeah, I do too. And I think they handle it very easily. Again, I think this Tennessee roster is not the same roster that we have seen. It's a roster that has got some holes now. And I don't know. This roster does not scare me at all. I think the Bengals are 4-0. And I think they handle business very easily against the Tennessee Titans, Mon. Here we go. At Arizona Cardinals, our first West Coast trip. What do you think? Arizona Cardinals, Bengals. Who you got?
I think Arizona is going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. I think the Bengals win this game. I think this is going to be probably out of this stretch, probably the easiest game for us. Bengals 5-0.
And I'm going to also agree. I'm going to say Bengals 5-0. I think Arizona Cardinals are in complete just out of right now. That organization has become a circus, and I think they are completely right now not in the right mindset. And I'm with you. I think this could be one of the worst teams in football this year. I think the Bengals win this thing easily, and they move to 5-0 as well. Then we got the Seahawks coming into town, another NFC West team. Mon, who you got? Seahawks, Bengals.
This will not be an easy game. Seattle is good. They are good. They got a lot of young talent. They're going to give San Francisco a fit in that division. I still got the Bengals winning at home. Winning Paycor Stadium is becoming a hard place to play for opponents. Bengals win this game 6-0.
I'm agree. I also say 6-0. I think that the Seahawks making the West Coast trip again, like you just said perfectly, is Paycor Stadium is not an easy win. And to come into our house, I think the Bengals go 6-0 going into the bye. I do think the Seahawks are definitely going to be one of those tougher opponents that we see in these first 6 games, but they're not tough enough. They don't have the same roster we do, and I think the Bengals go 6-0. Then we got the bye, and then we go to the NFC runner-up, San Francisco 49ers, Mon. What do you think? Bengals at Niners.
It's going to be hard. San Francisco has one of the best rosters in football. They're trying to figure out their quarterback situation. They're going to have about 2 months of quarterback play there. Whoever they start is going to be more comfortable. I like San Francisco is going to beat the Bengals. That's going to be our first loss of the season. Bengals 6-1.
Man, I am so torn about this one because I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I think this game right here is going to be a big game for us. I think it could be our first loss, Mom, but I'm going to be honest with you. I know their roster's loaded, but the one position it's not is at quarterback. And that quarterback situation is in flux right now. If you're going to tell me that Sam Darnold is going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm going to tell you you're crazy. And as hard of a game as I think this is going to be, because I'm not at all trying to disrespect this Niners roster. I think it's a very good football team, and I think they're going to be competing to play in the Super Bowl this year. But I think the bye week is what gives the Bengals this win. I think having that bye and then having a chance to go out to San Francisco after the bye, I'm going to tell you right now, the Bengals are going to be 7-0. And I think, like I said, I think that this 49ers team is very, very good. And I hate the Bengals having to play them in San Francisco. But that bye week is going to be huge. And if that bye week was not there, my pick might be different. Bengals 7-0 with the Buffalo Bills coming into town for Sunday Night Football, Mon. Who you got? Bills, Bengals.
I got the Bengals winning that game. They're going to be 7-1 after this. Cincinnati's the better team. I think the gap, we saw a significant gap last year in the divisional game and that little glimpse before the tragedy with Damar Hamlin. The Bengals just a much, much better team, more athletic. I know the Bills have added a lot of key players. They need a lot more to catch up to us. Cincinnati, prime time at Paycor. There's no way we're going to lose that game. Cincinnati's going to win 7-1 right now. That's what I have.
And I agree with you. I think there's no way the Bengals are losing this game. Obviously, we all know the tragedy that happened this past season in Cincinnati on prime time against the Buffalo Bills. But I also think that the Bengals know that this is going to be one of those games that is going to either help or hurt their chances of getting that first round bye this year. Because we all know the Bengals, Chiefs, and Bills right now are the top tier of the AFC. But I'm with you. I think if this game's in Buffalo, maybe a different story. But coming into Paycor, there's no way the Bills are beating us on prime time. And again, I know I sound like a homer. I'm trying to find a loss somewhere in here right now. But I have the Bengals as 8-0, 8-0 going for their best start of a season or any stretch. So here we go. 8-0. Now we got the Houston Texans coming into town, Mon. Who you got?
The Bengals are going to win this game. They're going to be 8-1 after this. Houston is obviously they were competitive last year for that horrible record they have. That they played a lot of good teams very closely. Coming to Paycor Stadium with the new coaching staff, they're trying to figure things out. I expect this to be an easy win for the Bengals. They need it to be. Hopefully, they can rest a lot of their starters in the second half because they got a short week for the Baltimore Ravens coming up. Bengals win. They're 8-1 right now.
Okay, and I have them as 9-0. This Texans team is just, I like what they've done in the offseason, but they are not even in the same caliber league of the Bengals. I think this game is an easy win. And then we have the short week. So I have 9-0. You have 8-1, right?
Yes.
9-0, 8-1. Now we got to go into Baltimore on a short week, prime time. Mon, Bengals, Ravens. Who you got in Baltimore?
Ravens win this game. I don't think it's. I think it's going to be pretty. I'm going to say lopsided, but the Ravens are going to win it. It's going to be tough. Short week playing our division rival on primetime TV. Bengals 8-2 in the season. Ravens win, first division loss of the season for the Bengals.
All right, I'll say a loss as well. And the only reason I say a loss is because I think it's tough, short week going into Baltimore on prime time. It's tough because I don't think the Ravens are a better roster than what we have. But these division games are tough, and that's how it goes sometimes. So I'm going to say 9-1, and you're 8-2, right? I'm 9-1. You're 8-2. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers at home. What do you think? Who you got?
It's going to be a close game. I think Pittsburgh. Actually, I predict the Steelers to be the second best team in the North this year. Cincinnati's going to win this game. I believe playing at Paycor Stadium again. That's going to be a place where teams are going to struggle to play in Cincinnati. Cincinnati wins this game, and they're going to be currently at 9-2. I have the Bengals at 9-2 right now.
Okay, and I have the Bengals at 10-1 because again, I'm with you. I think coming off a tough loss against the Baltimore Ravens, the Bengals bounce back, and I'm not sure this game is even close. To be honest, I don't feel the same way you do. But I don't think that the Steelers have any chance of coming into Paycor and winning this football game. All right, here we go. At Jacksonville Jaguars on prime time. On who you got?
This is going to be a tough game. Jacksonville could have easily beat the Chiefs last year in that divisional round game. Jacksonville is loaded. They have a lot of unbelievable team speed. Prime time in Jacksonville. I hate that stadium. I'm not even going. I live an hour and 40 minutes away. I hate going to that stadium to watch football games. Jacksonville's going to win that game. Cincinnati's not going to win on prime time down there. I have 3 losses for the Bengals. Bengals are 9-3.
Mon, this is the first game that I completely disagree with you about. I think you're nuts. The Bengals are going to go down there. I think the Bengals are going to go down there and absolutely run Jacksonville out of their stadium. I will be there to watch it all the glorious destruction. I don't think the Jaguars roster is even close to this Bengals roster. And I understand that you're worried about traveling and prime time and all that. But yeah, this Jaguars team is not even in the same league as the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals win this game by a couple scores. So I say right now I have us at what do I have us at? 11-1, right? 5, 6. Yep, 11-1. You say right now, what do you have us at? I have 11-1. 9-3. 11-1, 9-3. Here we go, Mon. Indianapolis Colts come to town. Who you got?
Bengals win. Playing at Paycor, it's not going to be close. I think the Bengals win easily. We are 10-3.
All right, and I have 12-1. Again, I'm with you. This Colts team, this roster, not even in the same caliber league of the Bengals. The whole AFC South is an absolute joke, train wreck of a division, and the Bengals are going to easily sweep that division, Mon. It's one of the worst divisions in football, and it's not even close. So Colts, we blow them out, and here we go. These last 4 games, Mon, this is going to be the interesting stretch right here. I have us right now at 12-1, and you have us at 10-3. Okay, Minnesota Vikings at home. Who you got?
It's going to be a tough game. Minnesota's tough. They can score points. I got the Bengals winning this game. Paycor Stadium. I expect this to be prime time on Saturday. Bengals are 11-3 at this point. They beat the Minnesota Vikings.
And I think the Bengals beat the Minnesota Vikings. Again, I think if this was in Minnesota, we might be speaking something differently here. But just the way this schedule works out, it's almost perfect for the Bengals as far as the home and away goes. Minnesota, one of the toughest teams on our schedule, but in Paycor Stadium, the Bengals will not lose this game, and they will go to a crazy 13-1, Mon. 13-1. Now we have to go into Pittsburgh on Saturday and play the Steelers. Who you got in this one?
It's pretty much a primetime game. It's the only game at that block. I have the Bengals going in there, and I have them losing. They're going to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh's going to be very tough. I expect them to be second in this division. Bengals lose, and that's their fourth loss of the season. They're 11-4.
Okay, well, I am going to give us a loss here only because I feel like where we are right now with the schedule, I think the Bengals are so focused and locked in on this Kansas City game, playing back-to-back games on the road. I don't think the Steelers are even they're not even in our league, but it is a division game. It will be tough, as it always is. We saw that week 1 last year, a Steelers team that we should have beat by 3 touchdowns come into Paycor and beat us. So I'm going to give us a loss here. Oh, God, I hate doing that. But we're going to be 13-2 going into the Kansas City Chief game. On who you got, Bengals Chiefs?
It's going to be a tough one. I still think about that AFC Championship game. We're down 3 offensive linemen. We lose one of our top receivers, Tyler Boyd. We still could have won that game. A lot of questionable play call or questionable officiating calls in that game. But I have the Bengals winning. I just think we are the better team. I really do. And I have the Bengals winning that game, and that'll make us 12-4 right now.
Okay, and I also have the Bengals winning this game. Again, I think it's payback time, and I think the Bengals have this game circled on their schedule. You heard some of the Bengals already talking about they wanted this to be week 1. It's not. The NFL is very smart because they know this is going to be for the first round bye. These are the 2 best teams, not only in the AFC, Mon. These are the 2 best teams in football. This is going to be a fun game to watch. But the Bengals are going to go into Kansas City. They're going to win this football game, and they are going to get that first round bye that we have just been longing for as Bengal fans. Right now, I have the Bengals at 14-2. Cleveland, last game of the year, Mon. Who you got?
I think we're going to be resting a lot of our starters. I think the Bengals are going to win. We're going to finish the season 13-4. That's my prediction so far for this season. We're 4-2 in the AFC North.
And I am going to also go with a win. Mon, we're going to be 15-2 this year. We are going to not only win the North easily, but we are also going to get that first round bye. 15-2, 13-4. We will see. We'll do this again when the season starts after the summer and stuff, see how we feel. We'll do another prediction. But right now, I feel very good about 15-2. 13-4, I don't know. That Jacksonville, I just can't go with you on that Jacksonville one. I just don't. That's not even a possibility.
What makes Jacksonville bad in your mind?
What makes them bad? I didn't say they were bad.
You said that you don't think they're that
bad.
good.
I said they're not in the Bengals league. They don't have this. They don't. Their roster is not even. It's not even in the same realm of speaking that the Bengals have. I'm talking about roster, Mon. I'm talking about roster.
We were this close to playing the AFC Championship game in Cincinnati. They could have beat Kansas City. Their Agnew fumbled at the 6-yard line late in that game. It was that close to playing a championship game in Cincinnati. I think they're going to be very good.
It should have been. It should have been in Cincinnati. and we would have beat the brakes off of Jacksonville. We'd have been walking to the Super Bowl if Jacksonville would have come to Paycor.
I agree with
easily.
that statement. I agree with that statement. Playing in Cincinnati, I agree with that.
Well, Mon, I do, before we get out of here, I do want to say very interesting stuff going on Twitter with Logan Wilson. Maybe this is the week, Mon, that we see one of those big three getting re-signed. What do you think the chances are that we see Logan, T, or Joe sign a contract extension this week?
That would be great. I would love to see Logan Wilson sign a contract extension. I think he's so important to this team. But when it comes to priority with Higgins and all the other stuff going on, I would put him a little farther down on that list. But if they make it happen, hey, man, I'm all for it. He's going to be a key player for years. I don't know. We'll see. I fully expect T. Higgins to sign soon. You saw the other night his mom opened up a Spaces. Everybody jumped on. Then T. Higgins jumped in, and she was singing away. And our guy Zim was sort of being the co-host, talking, trying to, get everything going. So, what Zim said a few weeks ago, Zim is connected. He obviously knows that family. I expect Higgins to sign a contract soon. And, listen, the Cincinnati Bengals, they're making things happen. They know who the studs are on this team. They know who the core players are. They're going to keep them together. We just got to keep on adding those pieces because there are going to be good players we can't keep.
And I agree. But I think all three of those guys are going to be Bengals for a long time. It would be nice, though, to see that Logan. I think if that Logan Wilson one gets done, I think we'll start seeing the rest of the dominoes fall, right? Because sometimes you do priority wise. Sometimes you might start here, find out where your money is, and then work your way up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the Bengals do all these contract things. But that is another edition of the Bengals Pulse. Guys, we want to know what your schedule prediction is. So in the comments, please let us know. First of all, let Mon and I know what you think of ours. And then we want to hear what your season prediction. Mon right now at 13-4. I am at 15-2. Look at those graphics. Look at those graphics. But this is another edition of the Bengals Pulse. If you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. If you like this podcast, please give Mon and I that 5-star review. We very much appreciate it. Make sure you follow us at Bengals_Pulse9 on Twitter and the same on Instagram without the at Bengals_Pulse9. And follow each one of us at ours, at Coach Jake Owens 9 and at The Fire Mon. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, guys. And as always, make sure you check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Wincinnati Podcast Network. Hopefully, Mon, next week we're going to be talking about some extension, getting ready to go into minicamp. He is Mon. I am Jake. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Hoo day, Bengal fans. We will see you next week.
See ya.